What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing a story that will absolutely blow your mind. It's about betrayal, strategy, and the coldest revenge you'll ever hear. But before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Trust me, you don't want to miss stories like this. Alright, let's get into it. Sarah didn't even look up from her phone when I walked into the kitchen. Her fingers moved across the screen with that urgency that only appears when someone needs to hide something important. Work? I asked, pouring myself coffee with steady hands. Yes, clients demand constant attention, she replied, finally putting the phone away. You know how it is, David. I knew. 7 years of marriage had taught me many things, including the fact that Sarah never worked past 11 p.m. The clock showed 11:47. That evening, I didn't ask questions. I simply activated an old architect's habit, observation. Foundations always show cracks before the walls come tumbling down. The next 2 weeks, I collected details like I once collected blueprints. Sarah started staying late at the office more frequently. Her laughter during phone calls became more musical, more alive. And the perfume changed to one I'd never bought her. My younger brother Michael walked into my office on a Thursday morning. No greeting, just placed an envelope on my desk and sat down across from me. Open it, he said quietly. Inside were photographs. Sarah and a man in his 40s, a restaurant downtown, yesterday's newspaper visible on a nearby table. His hand rests on her wrist. She's laughing, head thrown back in genuine joy. Anthony Miller, Michael said. Managing partner at Capital Consulting. Divorced, 2 kids. Rents an apartment on 5th Street. I studied the images carefully. I wasn't searching for pain. I was gathering information. How long? 3 months, maybe 4. They weren't exactly hiding. I folded the photographs back into the envelope, feeling something cold settle in my chest. Mike, I need a favor. Friday evening, Sarah announced she was going to a corporate retreat at a country club. She'd return Sunday. Want me to come with you? I offered, already knowing her answer. No, it's a work event. It would be boring for you. Saturday passed in preparation. I spread documents across my desk that I'd been collecting for months. Bank statements showed strange expenses. Bills from restaurants where we never dined together. Purchases from boutiques whose clothes she never wore at home. Sunday morning, I drove to the country club she'd mentioned. The manager politely confirmed no corporate events scheduled that weekend. I returned home and waited, my heart beating with mechanical precision. Sarah came back around 7, fresh and relaxed. She talked about team building and presentations, not noticing that I wasn't asking questions. Dave, are you all right? She finally asked. You're unusually quiet. Just tired. Been working on a new project. What project? Renovation. I gestured toward the documents spread on the table. Major renovation. She moved closer, and I watched her face change as she recognized the bank statements. What is this? The history of our expenses for the past 6 months. Fascinating reading. Sarah sat down, scanning the numbers. Her cheeks flushed pink. Are you spying on me? No. I sat across from her, my voice steady. I'm studying the structure of our relationship, and I'm finding many interesting details. I laid out the photographs, one by one. The restaurant, the theater, his apartment. Yes, I had that too. David. Anthony Miller, I interrupted. 42 years old, divorced, 2 children. Rents a 3-bedroom apartment on 5th Street for $4,000 a month. Earns about $200,000 annually. Not a bad catch. Sarah covered her face with her hands. It's not what you think. What do I think? That I'm being unfaithful. Aren't you? The pause stretched endlessly. Then she lifted her head, and in her eyes I saw not shame, but anger. I feel alive with him, she burst out. He sees me, do you understand? Not just a wife who cooks dinner and irons shirts. He sees a woman. I understand. That's it. Just I understand. I stood and walked to the window, my reflection staring back like stranger. What did you want to hear? Screaming? Accusations? A jealous scene? I wanted you to feel something, her voice cracked. 7 years of marriage, David. 7 years I've been your shadow. You build a house, a career, a future, and where in those plans is there room for the real me? I turned to face her, seeing pain I'd been blind to for so long. In the center. Always in the center. No, she shook her head. In the corner. In a beautiful, comfortable corner that you designed for me. The words hit harder than anger would have. Sarah left to stay with a friend for a week to think. I used that time efficiently, like I'd learned to use all time. Met with a lawyer, prepared property division documents, transferred my business share to my brother, sold the country house we'd planned to finish building together, and I met with Anthony Miller. He agreed to the meeting easily, probably expecting threats or confrontation. We met at the same downtown restaurant where Mike had photographed them. "You wanted to speak with me," he said, settling across from me. "I want to propose a deal." He frowned, confusion replacing confidence. "What kind of deal?" "Sarah is yours. Completely. No sharing, no courts, no drama." "I don't understand." "You're a consultant. You surely understand the value of clean assets. I'm giving you a clean relationship with the woman you love. No baggage from the past." Anthony leaned back in his chair, processing. In return, you take on her debts. The car is registered to her, but I've been making payments. The mortgage on the apartment she'll want in the settlement, also mine. About $200,000 total. $200,000 for a wife. For freedom, I corrected. Yours and mine. He remained silent for a long time, swirling wine in his glass. What if she doesn't want this arrangement? Then there will be a long, messy process, with investigators' audits, fighting over every detail. Sarah won't survive that. You might, but your career will suffer. Scandals involving married women don't enhance a managing partner's reputation. He understood. Consultants always understand the mathematics of relationships. "All right," he said finally, "but I want the proposal to come from you, with witnesses." Smart man. I almost respected him. Sarah returned Thursday, determined and ready for battle. She walked into the living room, where I sat with my coffee, and settled across from me. "I've decided," she said firmly. "I'm leaving for Anthony." "Good. Good." She looked confused. "You won't fight this." "On the contrary, I want to help." I pulled out a folder of documents, my hands surprisingly steady. "The apartment is yours. The car is yours. All loans transferred to your name. It's fair, since you'll be using everything." Sarah scanned the papers, her face growing pale. "David, this is $200,000 in debt, which are no longer my problems. But how will I pay? You have a job, and you have Anthony. I'm confident you'll manage." She understood then. Panic flickered in her eyes. "You want to punish me?" "I want to free you." I stood, feeling lighter than I had in months. 7 years you lived in a golden cage. Now you're free. Completely. With all that freedom entails. What do you get out of this? Peace. And the knowledge that I don't owe anyone anything. Her voice became small, vulnerable. "Will you ever forgive me?" I looked at her, really looked, for what I knew would be the last time. "I already have," I said quietly. "The moment I stopped needing you to feel complete." 6 months later, Mike sent me a message. Anthony and Sarah had separated. He couldn't handle her debts and demands. She'd moved back with her parents upstate. I felt no triumph, no pity. I simply closed the message and continued working on blueprints for a new house. My house, where every room was designed for me alone. That evening, raising a glass of wine in my new apartment overlooking the city, I understood something profound. Revenge isn't destroying someone else's happiness. Revenge is building your own, without looking back at those who chose different architecture for their lives. Sometimes the best way to win a war is simply to stop participating in it, and build your fortress where no one can find you to hurt you again.